Welcome everybody to week 6, the B-League Pick'ems show. I am your host, I am Dan at the B-League Says here with another episode of the B-League Pick'ems show. Heading up over for Going for 2 Live. We're checking out underdog props and pick'ems and all that sort of jazz. Hit us up, promo code GF2 over at underdogfantasy.com from 100% matching deposit up to $100. As always, check us out on YouTube. Hit us up over there. Subscribe, hit the alerts, all that sort of fun stuff. You can go over there, find your favorite show when it's on. Speak on it. Absolutely had one last night. Tune into that. Download the pod, wherever you get your podcasts, all that sort of stuff. If you want to comment on the show, absolutely do not do it on X or Twitter. I'm not even going to talk about that again. Find us over on Twitch. I don't even have an account, but find me over on Twitch. We can do that or comment over on YouTube, Facebook, whatever the hell that is. It's Meta or something. I don't know the difference. I love this show, says Kyle. I love your show, Kyle. It's a good show. Either way, thank you for joining me, my friend. Happy Canada Day on Monday. Thanksgiving, whatever it is. I've never seen it before, Jamie, either. I don't see it either. Somehow, some way, it's a very good streaming show. I should just leave this up as my new name. Either way, it's fun stuff. Speaking of fun stuff, come over and join us over on Discord. It's a free Discord. It's free, right? What else? What have you had? Like, that's bad, that's free. Like, free drugs is still good free drugs, right? Free drinks are great. Check the bottom of them. Double whammy. You get twice as much fun, right? That's what we're going with here. Gladys, what's up? Happy Wednesday. Best Pick'em show ever. It's a good Wednesday. Beautiful weather outside. Very happy about that. Pretty good day for us. It's going to look all right. A few props have dropped. A few haven't, which is kind of wild. I was checking across different platforms. I was trying to look out for like Giants, Bills. We're going to talk about them a little bit later. Absolutely nothing. Cactus, nothing. Absolutely barren out there. Trying to find props across the board. I was going over it on Tuesday and Wednesday. It was like touchdown props only. Like yards props had come and gone. Reception props weren't even there. You know how bad the week is for props? Is if you look at the prop options and like 60% of them are IDP players. And it's like tackle counts. You're like, oh shit, here we go. No one's going to run, catch, or pass correctly because the matchups are so dour. And they are. There's some real stinkers in here that I can't wait to talk about because some of these games are just mid. And it's wonderful. Speaking of mid, let's start with Denver at Kansas on Thursday night. Kansas getting 10.5 start at home against Denver. That tells you everything you need to know about that. Want to talk about something that's even worse? San Fran at Cleveland, who could be without Deshaun Watson, Nick Chubb, he's Gonski as well. San Fran running wild, putting 40 on Dallas or whatever it is. Yeah, San Fran getting it to 30. San Fran basically minus 37. San Fran's getting like 15. They're getting 15 points on Cleveland. Yeah, don't blame it at all. A fun one, which could be anything, Carolina and Miami. Miami's getting minus 13.5 at home against Carolina. Okay, there's another one. Over under 48.5, no dramas. Colts, Jags. I mean, I don't know where I'm at with this. Gardner Minshew, what? It's a revenge game for him. And to be fair, let's lay this out on the board. This is a conversation we need to have right here. Rookie Gardner Minshew was the best quarterback that year over Kyler Murray, over Daniel Jones, over Dwayne Haskins. Respect to him. Big fan of Dwayne Haskins. 50-odd touchdowns. Ohio as a senior. Guy was a friggin' animal. He should have been a Giant. We'll never know. Either way, it's one of those weird things. Like Gardner Minshew was like the best rookie quarterback that year. It was friggin' mad. It's like, he could have been the Brock Purdy of that year. He was like a 6th-round rookie or something stupid. Either way, Seattle, I love this one. Seattle +3 at Cincinnati? Really? Seattle +3 at Cincinnati? 45.5 is the line. That could be anything. But +3 Seattle? Take that. Cincinnati. What is Cincinnati struggling against Arizona? What are we doing here? Seattle +3. I like that very, very much. Speaking of I won't say that. Speaking of in trouble, Minnesota at Chicago. Chicago's getting +2.5 at home. That's without Justin Jefferson. I don't think Minnesota's really shown us too much more. Over under 44.5. That could be anything. New Orleans and Houston. Houston, I like it. Plus 1.5 at home against New Orleans. New Orleans are like, all right, they beat the Patriots. Like, yeah, the Jets beat the Patriots well, didn't they? Like, is that what happened? I don't even remember. I don't even watch. Jets play Patriots. I don't even watch. I don't even tune into that anymore. But they get plus 1.5. 42.5 is the line there. I feel like that's a little low for a game where I know the Saints defense has always been pretty solid, but I mean, CJ Stroud's been pretty good this year, hasn't he? Washington plus 2.5 at Atlanta, over under 42.5, which is a really interesting line to have. Plus 2.5, Washington. Oh man, they're so erratic. I'm gonna wait to see where that falls at the end of the week as well. Game of the week that we're going to, speaking of stinkers, we're going to look at Baltimore minus 4.5 at Tennessee. Over under 40.5. But before I do, the show has everything, I guess. I try to have everything in it. Why do I click on it? I can't even read. Underdog players and game picks, B-League rants, and all the drug references. Yes. From free drugs to dropping acid. No talk. Yeah, I mean, listen, all I have to do to get away with this is just hit the explicit tag at the end. I don't think I've sworn yet. It's coming. No, I'm going to talk about the Giants later. It's coming. Browns are in major trouble this week. Listen, man, if you're starting PJ Walker against San Fran, God bless. Like, just, you know what? Go outside, touch some grass. Go take the dog for a walk. Go drop some acid. Do something else. I'm probably staying away from that one. Hope Watson comes back. Oh, look. Oh, my God. Our Lord and Savior, Jeff Lambert, 77. Look at him go. Follow him on X. He's here on Wednesday. Geez, now I'm going to, rein it in. I was just talking about drugs and acid, and now Jeff's here. Well, shit. Oh, well, either way, we're going to kick on into Baltimore at Tennessee. In London, oh, my God. Poor Buffalo as well. Whatever the hell that was. There's 5 defensive plays in the first half. Absolute madness. No one should be playing on AstroTurf. Oh, my God. You've got to, see this turf gets rolled out onto the pitch. That's what you're playing on. It's felt. You're playing on a lawn bowls oval. It's ridiculous. They shouldn't even be out there. It's madness. Especially if you're in England, where you're known for turf. You're known for turf. The best English football fields in the world. It's lush. And you roll out AstroTurf. You friggin' lunatics. It's madness. The fact that they're doing this and the dudes are popping knees, mental. Yep. Yeah. I got a good 30 seconds away from it, Gladys. I've really had one there. And shit is a curse word. Yes, it is. Sometimes. Depends in context, I think. And delivery. Could be charming. Either way. Pick number 1. We're going with our pick 3 here for this game. We're going Lamar Jackson higher than half a rushing receiving touchdown. Number 1 because, that's an easy one, right? That's really what we should be going with. But number 2, underdog props hadn't really dropped. And they're kind of tough to look at this week. Look, we also have the 1.5x bonus here as well. So I kind of went with that for those putting the bet on. Jackson's gone 4 rushing touchdowns in 3 games on the ground. In recent form, it's not too bad against stout rushing defenses. He played Cleveland, he played Indianapolis, but he did blank against Pittsburgh, which is kind of weird. That game was all over the place. I think anyone that watched that will tell you the same thing. But, he's been struggling to get with any receiver. Like anyone that watched that game, Zay Flowers dropping sitters, Rashad Bateman dropping sitters. I don't know what the hell happened to it. Even Mark Andrews was dropping a couple there as well. Nothing was getting going for the Ravens last week. It just looked really discombobulated. I really think they'll get it together against the Titans again this week. Whether that matters too much for his rushing game or not is another thing. If a receiver can actually catch the ball in Baltimore, he might be a better chance of attaining goal line rush attempts. Look, something to take into consideration. The Titans across 5 games have allowed only 31 rushing yards to quarterbacks. They've not really come up against anyone like Jackson before. Deshaun Watson kind of, and they had Richardson last week, but he got injured. So they've really not really been that tested on the ground so much. Obviously the injury to Richardson last week was a bit of a bummer, but it is what it is. Pick number 2, I think, is my favorite pick of the week. I'm going to talk about it a little bit later as well. But Tajay Spears higher than 14.5 receiving yards. I feel like this is a lock. Look, the Ravens have been, for all their faults, their ups and downs, they're still solid on the ground. They're middle of the pack in attempts and yards, all that sort of stuff. And, they're one of the – how about this one? They're one of 3 teams yet to concede a rushing touchdown, which is kind of madness as well. And that after 5 games, that's kind of incredible. They have, however, given up a bit of leeway in the receiving game to running backs as well. He did go 3 for 19 at the Colts this week. Spears also went 4 for 35 receiving, and I've lost my marker here. What are we talking about? I've lost everything. I've lost my mind. Sorry, Jalen Warren, I think, went 3 for 19. Spears went 4 for 35, receiving as a line of 14.5. I feel like as a fan of. Oh, there we go. Jalen Warren went 3 for 39 last week against them. Jerome Form, 5 for 19. So even taking Spears at 2.5 reception when that drops is another thing. I don't think it's the worst move as well. 14.5, I don't mind. Ryan Tannehill is my third pick for this game as well, going lower than 1.5 passing touchdowns. Why wouldn't we? They've taken the lower option away, put 1.5x on the higher because they're saying, go on, take it higher. Do it. Go higher. No. We're going to stick with this because it will drop eventually. We're going to take the lower on him. And again, check your other betting platforms as well. They will offer lower. Take him lower. He's had one passing touchdown in 3 weeks. 2 passing touchdowns this year, and all of a sudden he's going to net 2 in London against Baltimore of all teams. Like, what are we doing here? Look, his yards have finally come up. Like, I'm not going to say that that's a bad thing. His yards have come up. Hopkins looks back to his career best form, and the Titans, again, they're a legitimate chance to take the South, contesting the Jazz and Texans. To me, it's wide open. They're 2-3. They're one game behind. They're not in a bad place at this point. It's an inconsistent division at the best of times, right? So let's not get it twisted. He struggled last year as well, so much so. How about this? He had 13 touchdowns last year in 12 games. All right, he's injured. He was in and out, all that sort of stuff. But what's mental about that is he had 5 2-touchdown games. So 83% of his touchdowns came in 5 games. I think that's kind of crazy. It also means he went 3 touchdowns in 7 for the rest of the year. So maybe 1 in every other game. And that's not really something that we want to hang our hat on, considering we're asking him to go 1.5 this week, and he hasn't, or he can't, or he won't. So it's one of those things. I'm also not suggesting that this is just a cakewalk for the Ravens. There's a bit of fool's gold in this too. They faced DTR and not Watson, who had 0 touchdowns. An out-of-form Kenny Pickett, who had 1 touchdown. Gardner Minshew, 1 touchdown. And injured Joe Burrow is the only guy that threw 2 touchdowns on him. That was in week 2. And CJ Stroud, week 1, who threw 0 on him. So they've had a little bit of a mixed bag in who they've faced the quarterback. Joe Burrow coming really off that calf strain week 2. That's about as hard as it's been. So Tannehill's probably the most steady vet since Burrow week 2 to come up against him. Hopkins looks good. Whatever you get out of Burks and Okonkwo and Akini Westbrook's another thing. But asking him to go for 2, it's just, I feel like that's not something we're going to go with. Yeah, I mean, how's he meant to move the ball away? I was watching this game. It's the most frustrating game. I don't know how I mean, it's funny. I say, I don't know how you watch them play, but I'm a Giants fan. You know, how do you watch the Ravens drop the ball? Well, I watched the Giants not be able to throw it. There's another thing. So, yeah, 7 drops last week. It was madness. Steelers is also a curse word. It is, Jamie. Let's kick on into the afternoon games. There's not a lot out there that I like. New England at Las Vegas, -3 favorites at home, over under 41.5. Arizona at Los Angeles Rams, -7, over under 48.5. That's a weird one. Welcome back, Cooper Kupp. Came back with a plum. Very good. Now we're going to check out the other one. Philly at New York Jets. I got it right this time. I normally call them New Jersey Jets. I really don't know why I do. I mean, they're in Jersey, but who cares? The Jets at home, +7, over under 41.5, or 41, sorry. Pick number 1, we're going to go with Jalen Hurts, lower than 245.5 passing yards. Feels a bit risky. Back-to-back weeks of 300 passing yards is fantastic. Jets are quietly plugging along as a solid defense, facing tough opposition quarterbacks. You're looking at the guys that have faced Josh Allen, Dak Prescott, Pat Mahomes. Want to throw Russell Wilson in there too. They've faced them as well. Mac Jones week 1 actually did a bit of damage on the Eagles too, but I mean, that game was kind of blown up. Started bench plays, whatnot. Jets have kept all but Dak and Mahomes under 250 this year, which is kind of interesting to know. Hurts has punched above 270 in 3 straight weeks and has kept his pass attempts to the high 30s and doing so about 38 pass attempts a game last few weeks. It seems abnormally high. His career average about 28. So maybe it's a gear shift in his usage. Maybe he's taking more better shots. It's not like they're chasing teams and he has to throw more. Like, it just feels like more of this. I'll say it every time. They haven't been out of second gear, really. So I just feel like the Eagles are going to be in control of this one. I just don't see him having to, push the panic button. It's really not there. Maybe hold off until the week drops. Maybe later in the week and see how this drops. I think that might come up a little bit more by the end of the week. So just sit pat on that and see where you're at. Pick number 2. Poor guy. Devonta Smith lower than half a rushing and receiving touchdown. No kidding. Old mate, he's Waldo at this point. Where are you? Someone please find the squeaky wheel for this guy. There's no oil left. AJ Brown took an oil. Oh my God. Absolute madness. If anyone should be losing their shit, it's him, because he's kind of disappeared and he turns up, he goes, "Hi, I'm here," and then he say, most maddening player to watch. I would hate to roster him in fantasy. I know how good he is. I'm never going to besmirch the kid on how talented he is, but how they use him is freaking nuts. AJ Brown's going off for like 150 yards a game. Dallas got it, went for what, 120, 130 last week, something stupid. This guy's going like 5 for 20. Like, the shit. Like, either way, he's had 3 games sub 50 yards this year, 3 games with 4 or fewer receptions. He hasn't scored once since week 2. Again, tough matchup. He's lacking consistent form. Interesting to see where our Sauce Gardner goes as well. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Well, we've also seen, like, Cortland Sutton score on the Jets. It's one of those weird things where, like, anyone can kind of do it at this point, but it's hard enough to do it. I just don't trust him at this point. I do kind of trust Garrett Wilson this week, higher than 54.5 receiving yards, though. I feel like he kind of be had in the air, which seems weird. Think about Kendrick Bourne blowing up week 1. Justin Jefferson had, 160 week 2. Terry McLaurin punched 90 on him. We saw what Nakua and Kupp did last week as well. So, like, these receivers, and you look at the flux of quarterbacks that they have, Mac Jones, Sam Howell, Baker Mayfield, it's not like they're doing that with, like, superstars. And we're talking about Zach Wilson right now. He's going to just hone in on this guy. So I feel all right with that in that regard. They've done decent enough together. Wilson. They've done all right. They've put up solid yards here. So with Garrett, can he get the 54.5? Sure. Dallas, Kansas, Denver. He's able to cross this quota this year, so 3 times pretty easily. The problem with him doing this, and I don't know if you've ever actually checked this, he's doing it off only a few receptions. So, like, in 4 games, he's had 5 or fewer receptions. And, like, in the 9, he had a game that was, like, 14 targets, 9 receptions. He had, like, he's fewer than 60 yards on 9 receptions. That's kind of wild, too. He's done it, like, he's hit the 54.5, like, with 2 or 3 receptions at one point. So, it's a blown coverage, and that can kind of happen with Philly. We've seen it with Kendrick Bourne. We've seen it with Jefferson. So, if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be him. I don't hate it for him. Speaking of stinkers, let's have a look. I'm going to open up my phone and check if any more props have dropped. That's how bad this is at this point. Buffalo get the Giants on Sunday night, because if anyone knows anything about me, so I love talking about the Giants in prime time. Prime time against Dallas, Arizona away, prime time against San Fran, Seattle prime time, and then they get Miami now prime time against Buffalo. So, what are we doing here? Why are we doing this? Why are we doing it? Why are we doing this to ourselves? Why are we putting the Giants in prime time? Stop! It's just madness. Like, I don't even want to watch them at 1 o'clock. Why would I want to watch them at 8:30? Ugh, disgusting. I'm going to check to see if there's any more props dropped, because I've only got 2. Because only 2 have dropped. Let's have a look. Come on. No. So there's still only 2 props dropped so far for the Giants-Bills game over at underdogfantasy.com. Promo code GF2 for 100% matching deposit up to $100 on your initial outlay. Bang. We're going to go with a higher for the Bills guys that we've given. That's not even a Josh Allen prop at this point. That's how stupid this is. Stephon Diggs higher than 89. It would come up from 86.5 if you got on him yesterday, up to 89.5 receiving yards. Look, get on this now. It's only going to keep coming up. Like, this number, it's only going to keep coming up. That's the reality of this. We're trying to get on this now before it gets like 96, 97, 98. That's going to happen. Look, Diggs has 4 games over 100 yards out of his last 5 this year. Like, 4 games over 100. They had him at 86.5 yesterday afternoon. All right, 3 games over 110 in back-to-back-to-back games, and he gets the Giants? Okay. Well, this should be a hard one, even with how the Giants have been playing, trying to contain lead wide receiver. Tyreek Hill just went absolutely bananas on him. They've allowed 180 passing yards in week 5. Like, yeah, just so depressing to talk about. I'm going to keep going, though, because I wrote it down. Diggs, in 3 occasions, yet to have. This is a fun one for those, like, pessimists out there, because, we've got to cater to the downers as well. Diggs has yet to have over 50 receiving yards in 3 occasions against the Giants. So he's better 3 times, had less than 53 times. Each time he was playing for Minnesota, though. So make of that what you will. but he's also got 110 3-game straight. So, whatever. Pick number 2, and I don't know why I'm going to do this either, because my confidence level in this guy. Yeah. James Cook, we're going to go higher than 52.5 rushing yards because I just hate myself. Look, the Giants are giving up the second most rushing yards to the running backs at 135 yards per game. The third most rushing attempts at 25 on average attempts per game. The second most rushing TDs this year as well was 7. So, in other words, this is more to do with how bad the Giants are. Oh, it's depressing. And how inconsistent James Cook is. Look, he's had a weird season. Like, I think he had, -4 yards in one game as well. 40 in another, 20 in one. But he's also had 2 games, over 90 yards as well. So, 90 yards and 100. I think he went for 100 2 weeks ago as well. So, he's had 2 games over 90 his last 3. It's something to hang your hat on. And, the Giants are bad. So, yeah, that I feel great about saying that. The Giants are just bad. Here we are. We can't even tank for anyone. We're not even good enough to do that. Unbelievable. I'm going to wrap this up because, I'm just sad now. I don't care. Giants suck. Whatever. We're going to crack on into this. We're going to go over this one more time. Let's go over everything as well. YouTube, come find us, subscribe, hit the alerts. Find your favorite shows, tune in every week, or catch us on your podcast platform, whatever that may be. I don't know. Apple, Podbean, Audible, Spotify, whatever. Just download it. I'll tell you, I'll give you something. Leave a 5-star review. No one ever says that anymore. Why doesn't anyone say that? Hit 5 stars and leave a review. I'm sure that'll help. Jeff, why isn't that on a promo sheet? That really should be something that we say. Either way. Come to our Discord. It's free. Nothing bad is free. Free drugs? Great. Free new tire? Great. I'll take it. Why not? Find something. It's free. Do it. Free hugs. Even better. I'm not going to talk about X. Not going to promote that at all. Ever. Oh. Am I? I'm not that old. Not that old. I'll be away on Monday night. I'm taking a day off because I'm old, but I will have a pint. Get some Guinness up your guts. There we go. Everyone, there you go. That's what you can do for my birthday on Monday night next week. Have a pint of Guinness for me. It's a fun one. We can do that. I've lost my marker again. That's very good. I spoke about Discord. Spoke about YouTube. Oh, Underdog. Get on that as well. Get around that. GF2 promo code. 100% matching deposit up to $100. You missed out last week. We had a week of 500 for 500. That's freaking madness. I haven't seen that anywhere else, which is kind of cool too. So, yeah, let's get on that. Do that too. You can find me on Discord. I'm not even going to respond to you on Twitter anymore. I've just decided I'm not going to do that. But for what it's worth, we're going to go over these picks one more time. We're going to head over. Baltimore play Tennessee in London for a home game. Because, Barcelona and Real Madrid would play a La Liga game in Kansas, right? That's what they're going to do mid-season? No, they come over in the summer and they play their reserves. So if they get hurt, who gives a shit? But no, we have to send NFL games to London and Stuttgart and Mexico City. What are we doing here, you dullards? There's only so much money you can have to put player health at risk for this stupid shit. Go in the offseason. Have a 1-month expo. Play your practice matches there. They will sell out every game at Wembley every friggin' time. But no, we're going to send this game out there for no friggin' reason. We're making some money. Fucking $billion enterprise and you're making... I'm going to kick on with it. Let's go. Baltimore and Tennessee. Here we go. Lamar Jackson higher than half a rushing receiving touchdown. We like that as well with the 1.5x bonus. Tajay Spears higher than 14.5 receiving yards. Love that the most. It's one of my 3 favorite picks of the week. And we're going to hit on Ryan Tannehill going lower than 1.5 passing touchdowns. It will drop. It's going to drop. But if it doesn't, do not get on it. He's no good. He sucks. He's the New York Giants rushing defense of quarterbacks. There you go. There's a tongue twister. We're going to head over to Philly at the Jets. Jalen Hurts this week, I feel like it's going to go lower than 245.5. Devonta Smith, lower than half a rushing receiving touchdown. He's not going to score this week. Garrett Wilson, higher than 54.5 receiving yards. Last game, because there's only 2 props, Stephon Diggs, higher than 86.5 receiving yards. It's up to 89.5. I'll probably take that up to about 97. I feel pretty comfortable with that. 3 games back-to-back, 110 over. Feel pretty good either way. James Cook, also higher than 52.5 rush yards this week. I've wrapped that up 24 minutes. I have killed that under 25. Hope you guys have a great week. Happy bets. Thanks for tuning in. Safe bets. Cheers. Goodbye for now.